Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today sit a while for we are playing some more franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. So first things first, I am very sick. You can probably tell in my voice. I'm not running a fever right now, and my coughing is pretty much at a minimum, so I figured I'd try to do something other than laying in bed all day and feeling miserable, so decided to try to have some fun, and that means playing some of this and shooting a video. That also means I might have to mute my microphone a little bit to cough and stuff like that, and if that happens, I apologize ahead of time. It shouldn't be too bad till I'm better than I was yesterday. That's for sure. Anyway, so you know who is doing really good? The Ottawa Senators, and the save are. It is finally 2001 January, and the Ottawa Senators are at the top of the conference with 53 points. So we are doing pretty good. Now, as we saw in the previous video, there's two teams in the West that are either better or equally as good, but we are in a really good position. That being said, I still look to see if I could maybe make the team a little bit better. There's a trade that I'm thinking about, and I will go ahead and make the trade offer here on screen. It's going to look like I'm yet again trying to get an ex-Sen in real life on my team. It's not necessarily what's going on here, but I do have... I think he could help the team a little bit, so I'm going to go for it. It's not a major trade. I'm not going like for Peter Forsberg or anything like that, but it is... a player that used to, well, obviously it's not Peter Forsberg because I did say it's somebody that used to play for the Sens in real life, so it's that guy here, Vinny Prospol. So I'm going to try to snatch him from Toronto. He had a decent season last year, 67 points in 78 games. He has a decent season right now on a bad team, 24 points in 35 games. It's not superstar status, but it is pretty acceptable. So I'm going to try and get Prospol. However, I am going to make one offer, and I am not going to budge further than that. Okay, so they have weaknesses only up front. Well, that's too bad, because the guy I want to offer is Roman Amerlik. Amerlik is not having a really good season for us this year. Can I? Yeah, I can see the stats from here. Oh, I guess he disappears once you put him up there. Okay. Yeah, something like 8 points or something like that. He's really not doing too good. So I figured I would attempt the trade. The age is close. The money's not that far apart. They're both on an expiring contract, so that's a trade that makes sense for me. Kind of try to bolster up my left side there at forward. I do have a few holes there maybe. So let's try and do that. Well, they didn't accept right away, so usually that means that they're going to say no, at least from the experience that I've seen so far. Alright, so let's go ahead and start 2001 with a bang, hopefully. Alright, let's see how much Rod Brydon likes me. You better be very happy. I'm coming to work sick today. We went 9-3 in December, so it was a pretty good month, all in all. Followed a very good month of November as well. Alright, so so it looks like we're gonna have Homestead, and then we're gonna go for the Western Canadian trip, then another Homestead, and then who knows after that. Alright, so today we are playing the St. Louis Blues, who are starting to turn it around. As we know, the past couple seasons, they really started really poorly, both seasons. And they dug themselves into a hole that they couldn't get out of. So this year, they are 16-16-3. Now, that's not, extraordinary or anything like that, but that's definitely better than what they've been doing in the past. Let's take a look at their lineup there. So they have, oh yeah, that's true. They have the French Canadian tandem in net. They have Stéphane Fizet and Jocelyn Thibault. They are both 1-star goaltenders. That could be a little bit better, I guess. Christian Backman, Igor Ulanov, Barrett Jackman, Nathan Dempsey, Frederick Olason, Mike Van Ryn, Clark, Doug Greer-Shannon. Oh, Steve Thomas is 37. He's still a 2-star player, though. Yeah, Brett Hull is 36. He's still a 3.5-star player, still pretty good. Dave Morissette is on that team, the face puncher, French Canadian. All right, so they have a little bit of an old team. Let's just. Their key players are older, or some of their key players are older, I should say. Alright, so let's see if we can beat the Blues. Alright, we are going to face Stéphane Fizet in net, and we're going with Mike Dunham. Now, hopefully Dunham has a better month in January. Out of memory alone, I believe that he's the one who lost all of my games in December. So, no, we lost 6-3. We need to bring back Tim Thomas in it. We were also outshot 33-28. Doesn't happen all that often. Brett Hull was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Frederick Olason for St. Louis was the second star with 3 assists. And Steve Thomas, 3rd star with 2 goals. So I pointed out the older players on St. Louis. Well, they just came to kick my ass. That's what happens. Alright, so Brettel opened the scoring. Oh, there was 12,504 people in attendance. Like I said, Brettel opened the scoring, and then Marian Osa tied it on the power play from Yashin and Alfredson. It was tied at 1 after 1. And then Zdeno Chara gave us a 2-1 lead from Sheldon Sorey and Magnus Arvidsson, but then the Blues would score 3 straight. It was 4-2 for St. Louis after 2. And then Brian Berard gave us some hope from Bill Guerin and Matt Cullen 49 seconds into the 3rd period. But then the Blues would score twice more, including an empty netter by Steve Thomas at the end of the game. And we lost 6-3. I demand Tim Thomas in net. Oh yeah, that's true. Wayne Gretzky was suspended. So he is back in the lineup now. Yeah, when you think about Wayne Gretzky, you always think about all the records, the incredible vision, all those assists. He could score goals, the Gretzky office behind the net. You don't think about a dirty player. So it was a little bit surprising to see him being suspended. All right, and we have our ghost rivalry game against Tampa Bay coming. All right. So we do have Andreas Dacko. That's hurt. All right, Trevor Linden has produced 900 points in his career. He had an assist against Chicago. So pretty good for Trevor Linden. He's 30, so should get to 1,000. Strong game for Eric Daze. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Atlanta. So Eric Daze now playing for the Wild. He was taken in the expansion draft. Dave Gagne suspended, playing for Buffalo. He's going to miss 6 games. Alright, and I'm going to mute my microphone for a second here. All right, my apologies. All right, so we are facing Tampa Bay. We are 0-1 against them. We lost in Tampa Bay 3-1 earlier this season. Tampa Bay right now is 16, 18, and 4, and they are third in the East thanks to that seeding that's been explained a couple times by now. If it wasn't for the fact that they're top of their division, they wouldn't even be in a playoff spot right now. So they can be thankful for being into the shittiest division in the NHL this year. If memory serves right, it was pretty much the case back in those years. Maybe not exactly in 2000 and 2001, but somewhere around those years, that division wasn't super competitive. And then Tampa Bay started to get good because they had Le Cavalier, and then they claimed St. Louis, and they had Brad Richards, and they got Nikolai Abibulin in net and whatnot, so they started to be really good in there. Alright, but in my universe, that's not exactly how it's going. Brian Eklund is going to be in net for Tampa Bay, and we're sending Mike Dunham again. We're trying to spark plug him, I guess. Alright, that worked. We won 3-0, so a shout out for Mike Dunham. Roger Nielsen didn't listen to me, and it paid off, so what do I know? Oh boy, we outshot Tampa Bay 62-16. And Magnus Arvidsson was the first star of that game. He had an assist. Bill Guerin was the second star with a goal. And Roman Hammerdick, who I'm still waiting to hear from my trade offer, got an assist and was the third star. Only 10,610 people in attendance. There was no scoring in the first period. And then Bill Guerin scored a game winner, first goal of the game, from Joe Thornton and Roman Hammerdick. And then in the third period, Nieuwendyk from Datsuk and Arvidsson, and then Marian Osa from Brian McCabe and Alexei Yashin. 3-0 was the final score. Nice little shutout. Only 16 saves, but we'll take it. Marian Osa extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal in that game. That's pretty good. We haven't had many of those for our team over the years, so we'll definitely take that one. Alright, and we are hosting the Montreal Canadiens for our next game. Alright, Serge Payet has not been suspended in Florida, so still in the lineup over there. Lyle Odeline in Nashville's got suspended. He's going to miss 6 games. Alright, so I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going to go any further. Today it was a pretty even trade. I don't want Prospal all that bad, so I'm going to just decline that, and we are going to move on. Alright, so tomorrow is our game against the Canadiens. Jason Marshall is available. Yeah, he's only a 1-star player. I am not going to claim him. Dave Scatchard extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against Edmonton. And Nick Lidstrom is back from suspension. Another one that was really weird to see get suspended. And out there, Dave Scatchard have a similar goal scoring streak to Marian Osa. Marian Osa is God among men. Okay, maybe not, but he's having a pretty good season. Alright, playing the Montreal Canadiens. We've won both games against them this year so far, 3-2 and 7-0. Montreal is still doing pretty good, though. They are 22, 14, and 5 for 49 points. They are 6th in the East. Alright, they are going with Patrick Roy in net. We are going with Mike Dunham. So riding Mike Dunham after Tim Thomas gave us a really good month. And we won again, 3-2. Now, that's something that I really like. You know, being 3-0 against Montreal in a season. Yeah, now that's the stuff. Oh, Montreal outshot us 33-27, so it was a pretty evenly disputed game there. 33-27 the shot. Zdeno Chara was the first star. He had an assist. John Leclerc was the second star. He had 2 assists. And Sheldon Surrey was the third star with an assist. We had 13,099 people in attendance today. Magnus Arvidsson opened the scoring from Bill Guerin and Daniel Alfredson. And then Sakuka Ivu tied it up on the power play, but Robert Cron would score before the end of the first from Mike Fisher and Mike Selinger. And it was 2-1 Sens after one. Nobody scored in the second. And then Joe Nieuwendyk made it 3-1, assisted by Zdeno Chara and Sheldon Surrey. And then Montreal would score shortly after, but 3-2 was the score, and 3-2 was the final score. All right. Mark Smith in Philadelphia is not suspended. Kevin Atcher has produced 600 points in his career. He had an assist against Toronto. Alright, in 3 days we're going to be playing in Vancouver, so that Western Canadian swing starts here very shortly. Brian Marchment in Carolina did not get suspended. Ooh, big game for Eric Lindros. He had 4 assists against St. Louis. Only a 3-star player anymore, huh? Alright. Mark Rickey has a strong game. He had 3 goals and 2 assists in that same game. Oh, pretty good game for Mark Rickey. 4-star player still. He's 32. Alright, Andreas Dackel might be coming back soon. Alright, so tomorrow we are in Vancouver. Oh, wow. I guess Lidstrom is playing with an edge this season. He didn't get suspended this time, but something happened that made the league look at him. Like, Nick Lidstrom is probably the cleanest player I've ever seen play defense. Now, at forward, there were some other guys that were pretty clean, but Nick Lidstrom on D was one of the cleanest defensemen I've ever seen play. Andreas Dackel on the verge of returning. Yes, please. Alright, so playing in Vancouver, the Canucks are 18, 21, and 3, so struggling a little bit in Vancouver. We have not played them this year so far. Alright, so Artem Shubarov is injured and will not be playing this game. Well, he's not injured anymore, but he's still on the injured reserve. And Mike Pekka and Jay Pandolfo are, I guess, maybe playing, maybe not. Alright, so Damon Rhodes and Garth Snow in net. Kevin Otter, Barry Richter, Brent Sopel, Mathieu Soloon, Brian Allen, Nolan Baumgartner, Ben Clymer, Yurki Lume, Yaroslav Spacek. Yeah, these are right. Bates Battaglia, Daniel Sedin, Thomas Holmstrom, Jay Pandolfo, Trevor Linden, Mike Pekka, Cliff Running, Pavel Bure, Henrik Sedin, Radek Dvorak, Anu Hevanen, and Peter Schaefer. Yeah, they have an okay team. Yeah, the D might be a little weak. It's average, I guess. Forwards is average, and the goaltending is not that great. So they kind of have an average team. I guess maybe that's why they don't have a very good record. Oh, we're bringing Tim Thomas in net. He's going to face Garth Snow. And we won 3-1. Alright, we outshot them 33-31. Marian Osa was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Yaroslav Spacek was the second star with an assist, and Alexei Yashin, the third star with 2 assists. So Osa opened the scoring in the first from Yashin, and then Osa again from McCabe and Yashin. It was 2-0 after 1 for the Sens, and then Datsuk... Oh, sorry. The Canucks scored in the second. I was looking for their goal. I missed it somehow. So it was 2-1 after 2, and then Pavel Datsyuk scored late in the third period, assisted by Nieuwendyk and Joe Thornton. It was 3-1. Your final score. Joe Sakic has produced 400 goals in his career, so he had a goal against Columbus, and he's going to score more because he's 31 and he's still a 5-star player. Turner Stevenson's suspension ended in Minnesota. He's back in the lineup. Good game for Vincent Enfous. He had 4 assists against Boston. Alright, then Dackel is ready to come back. Playing in Calgary for the next game. Alright, so we did lose to Calgary earlier in the season, at home 3-2, and now we're playing in Calgary. The Flames are 18, 22, and 3 this season, so they are struggling a little bit like the Canucks were. It's a very similar record there, so hopefully we get the same kind of result. Alright, so Tim Thomas in net for us, and Levente Super in net for Calgary. And we won 3-2. So again, with a good game. So we only have 1 loss so far in January, and it was the first game of January against St. Louis. Alright, so we outshot them 44-22. Joe Thornton was the first star of that game. He had an assist. Jeff Odgers was a 2nd star for Calgary. He had a goal. And Pavel Datsyuk, the 3rd star, with a goal as well. Alright, so Pavel Datsyuk opened the scoring in the first from Joe Thornton. And then Odgers scored to tie it at 1 apiece. So it was tied at 1 after 1. Nobody scored in the second. And then in the third, Yashin scored on the power play from Surrey and Sillinger, and then Nieuwendyk from Brian McCabe. It was 3-1. Then Robert Reichel scored on the power play close to the end of the game. It was 3-2, but we would hold on. 3-2 for us. Luc Robitaille extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal and an assist against St. Louis. Mario Lemieux, day-to-day injury. Still a 5-star player at 35. Alright, and now we are playing in Edmonton. We beat Edmonton earlier in the season at home 2-1. And now we're facing them on the road. Again, very similar record. They are 18, 21, and 7. So another team with a similar record. Those Western Canadian teams are probably all very close to each other in the standings. So we are going with Mike Dunham in net again, and Roman Turek is in net for Edmonton. And we won 6-2. Alright. We outshot them 36-23. Joe Thornton was the 1st star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Sheldon Surrey was the 2nd star with a goal and an assist. And Joe Nieuwendyk was the 3rd star with a goal and an assist. So another pretty good game for us. Daniel Alfredson opened the scoring on the power play from Marian Hossa and Alexei Yashin. And then Miroslav Shatan tied the game. It was tied at 1 after 1. And then in the second, Matt Cullen scored from Sheldon Surrey. It was 2-1 for the Sens. And then in the third period, Kurt Maltby tied the game at 14-26. It was 2-2. And then we would score 4 goals in less than 4 minutes. In 3 minutes and 55 seconds, I guess. Wow. So Sheldon Surrey scored from Joe Thornton, and then Joe Thornton from Joe Nieuwendyk and Pavel Datsyuk. Then Joe Nieuwendyk from Joe Thornton and Pavel Datsyuk. And finally Alexei Yashin on the power play from Daniel Alfredson and Marian Hossa. All right. So Luke Richardson in that game played in his 1000th game in his career. Pretty cool achievement. Alright, we are heading back home so we can play against the Kings. I'm going to go ahead and mute my microphone again, so I will be right back. My apologies. Alright, again, I'm sorry. Trying to keep hydrated. That's the hardest part, I think. I'm not coughing so much anymore, and, you know, my fever is down, but, like, I'm sick, so talking really dehydrates me, and it's making my throat weird. So I'm just trying to stay hydrated. Alright. Just like a real hockey player. Gotta stay hydrated. Alright, so the Kings are doing really good as well. They are 26-12-6, so that's a pretty strong record as well. So we're going to take a look. We haven't played them so far this year. No injuries are there. No injuries are here. Byron Defoe and Kelly Rudy in net. So, I mean, Kelly Rudy is 40. That's still alright, I guess. Andreas Lilia, Joe Carvo, Francisek Cabaret, Alexis Zitnik, Rob Blake, Brad Lukowicz, Kimo Timonen, Lubomir Wisnowski. Daddy's pretty good. Eastwood, Derek King is still there. Luke Robitaille, Tsiplikov, Wayne Gretzky, Yannick Lehoux, Robert Lang, Sean Pronger, Sean Van Allen, Jamie Baker, now playing right wing. Eric Bélanger, Brad Chartrand, and Wes Walls. So it might sound a little bit weird to say for, you know, the Kings, but I think maybe their offense might be their weakness a little bit. And, you know, that says a lot when Luke Robitaille and Wayne Gretzky are on that team, but they're both getting older. Oh, they're going with Kelly Rudy in net, so they're sending the veteran. We're going with Tim Thomas. And we won 5-3. We completely outshot them 48-19. Joe Nieuwendyk was the first star of that game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Mike Eastwood for LA was the second star with a goal. And Joe Thornton, third star, 2 assists. 13,597 people in attendance. Alright, so LA scored first. And then Nieuwendyk tied it up from Yashin and Alfredson. And then LA scored again. So LA was ahead 2-1 after 1. Then we scored 3 unanswered in the second. Cullen from Berard and Guerin. And then Datsuk from Nieuwendyk and Thornton. And Yashin from Hammerlick and Marianosa. We were up 4-2. Then Joe Nieuwendyk made it 5-2 in the third, assisted by Joe Thornton. Then Mike Eastwood scored to make it 5-3, but that score would hold, and we would win. Luke Robitaille extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against us. I was there. I saw it happen. Stacy Roost, available on the waivers. Not going to claim him. Rob DiMaio has a strong game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Buffalo. Good night for Vincent Cavalier, who had 4 assists against Buffalo. So I guess he's starting to come into his own. 3.5 stars. He's 20. He's going to be good for a while. Dave Gagne in Buffalo is back from suspension. Sandis Ozolinsh is hurt in Boston. He's going to be hurt for 4 months. So I didn't pull the trigger on a potential Sandy Lynch trade earlier in the year because he was hurt and he had like that super long day-to-day injury. Well, I guess he was playing with it and got injured further, so. Lyle O'Deline, back from suspension. Back in the lineup in Nashville. And Pavel Bure scored his 400th goal in his career with a goal against the Detroit Red Wings. Alright, and we are playing now against the Washington Capitals at home. We beat them once at home before, 6-0. Washington is 13th in the East. They are 11-30-4. This is bad. This is a very bad record. Alright, so Olaf Kolzig is in net for Washington. We're going with Tim Thomas. And it's a tie. We couldn't beat the Washington Capitals despite their abysmal season so far this year. So a 4-4 tie. Now let's see here. Oh god, we completely outshot them 55-22. Andreas Dackel was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Harry York for Washington was the second star with 2 goals. And Mike Sillinger, third star with an assist. 13,431 people in attendance. So, okay, Washington took a 1-0 lead in the first. They were up 1-0. Then they took a 2-0 lead at the start of the second. And then we tied it up. Sami Salo from Sillinger and Andreas Dackel. And then Brian McCabe from Alexei Yashin and Roman Hamrlik. And then Harry York scored to make it 3-2. But Andreas Dackel scored from Sharon Brad Larson. So, well, it was Brad Larson's first point of the season. So we were tied at 3 after 2. And then in the third, Pavel Datsyuk scored from Joe Nieuwendyk and Sheldon Surrey. And late in the game, Clark Wilm tied the game at 4. Nobody scored in overtime, obviously. And that's how we ended up with a tie. Alright, so Darian Hatcher in Anaheim was suspended. He's going to miss 5 games. And a strong night for Deron Quint in Phoenix. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against that same game against Anaheim. Alright, playing our rivalry-ish game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So we just played them at home. We won 3-0. Now we're playing them at home again. And since the last time we played them, it didn't get any better for them. They are 18-23-4. But they are still third because of the seeding. Alright, Martin Brochu in net for Tampa Bay. We are going with Mike Dunham. And we won 5-0, so we played Tampa Bay twice this month, and they have not scored a goal against us. And both times it was Mike Dunham in net with the shutout. So Mike Dunham likes to face the Lightning. Oh, those shots. 63-21 for us. So that's what, exactly triple. We tripled them in shots, like doubling them wasn't good enough. Wow. Marian Osa was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Brian Berard was the second star with 2 goals. And Alexei Yashin was the third star with 2 assists. 11,230 people in attendance. I find it odd that the games that draw the less people in the stands are the, quote-unquote rivalry games. You would think if they're really a rival, people would really want to come to the arena. Guess not. Right, Brian Berard was the first one to score, assisted by Mariano Osa, and then Bill Guerin from Sammy Salo and Matt Cullen. It was 2-0 after one. Brian Berard scored again in the second from Osa and Yashin. It was 3-0. And then Matt Cullen on the power play from Yashin and Osa. And finally Nieuwendyk from Surrey and Thornton, 5-0. And that's the final score. So Nieuwendyk got a few more points this month, but he's still not, godly. Well, I don't know that it was godly, but he was a lot better the past couple seasons for us. Brendan Shan has recorded 900 points in his career, so he had an assist against Vancouver, 31 years old. You're probably going to get to 1,000, unless you retire young or something. Pierre Turgeon has accomplished 750 assists in his career. So he had 3 assists against Atlanta. Pretty good way to get to 750 is to get a bunch in the same game. Alright, Miroslav Shatan extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal against San Jose. And Derek King has accomplished 600 points in his career with an assist against Philadelphia. Alright, there's 5 games left in the month of January, and they are all on the road. Long road trip for the Sens, and it even goes all the way into February. So, yeah, it will be a little interesting there to see how we can manage ourselves on the road here. That's a weird road trip, too. So we go to New York, and then down in Florida, then back all the way into Montreal, then down in Washington and Detroit. That's a weird road trip. It's weirdly scheduled, it feels like. But again, back in the, in 2001, I don't think the league was checking as closely the travel for the teams and everything as they do today. So that's probably why. Alright, so we are playing the Islanders. Oh, I forgot to check to see if we had played them this year so far. We have. And we won 4-0. Awesome. Hopefully we can do that again. So Mike Dunham in net for us. He's going to face Dan Cloutier. Oh, we lost 4-3. I guess we can't, win all the time. Okay, I guess. So the game was pretty tight for the goals and the shots. They outshot us 34-33. Mark Eden, was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Mariano Osa was the second star with 2 assists. And Tukio, what's his name? Arto Tukio was the third star with a goal. Alright, so Tukio opened the scoring, then Daniel Alfredson scored on the power play from Yashin and Osa. It was tied at 1, but Matthias Timander scored on the power play to make it 2-1 Islanders after 1. Then Dackles tied the game short-ended from Sillinger and Shara, and then Turgeon scored on that same power play 9 seconds later. Make it 3-2 for the Islanders. And then former Ottawa Senator Vili Peltonen scored. Make it 4-2. Joe Nieuwendyk would score with 24 seconds left in the game from Mariano Osa and Joe Thornton, but it was too little too late. 4-3 the final score. It's a loss. Uh-oh. Matt Cullen got suspended for 3 games. We don't get suspensions a whole lot. I have players that can come in, so it is not the end of the world. Alright, there was no stopping Sean McEachern, who had 3 goals and an assist against Montreal. Ooh, Montreal got rocked 8-2. I like that. And I to remember for Martin Strecker in that same game, he had 5 assists. Woo. Patrick Travers in Edmonton did not get suspended. Miroslav Shatan extends his point streak to 13 games with 2 goals against San Jose. Teemu Selanne has accomplished 900 points in his career with 3 assists. Still a 5-star player at 30. Alright, we are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning for the 3rd time this month. This time we are playing in Tampa Bay. We are 2-1 against Tampa Bay this year. The only loss came in Tampa Bay. That's where we're playing right now. Tampa Bay still not doing great since last time we faced them a couple games ago. They are 18-25-5. Alright, so Tim Thomas in net for us. And we are facing Martin Brochu. And we won 4-1. Ah, what a letdown. We actually allowed a goal against Tampa Bay this month. Jeez. Alright, 38-22 the shots for us. Alexei Yashin was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Sheldon Surrey was the second star with a goal and an assist as well. And finally, Roman Hamrlik was the 3rd star with a goal. So we took a 2-0 lead in the first. Roman Hamrlik from Joe Nieuwendyk. And then Alexei Yashin on the power play from Brian Berard. 2-0 after 1. And then Daniel Alfredson scored in the second from Surrey and Shara. 3-0 after 2. Tampa Bay scored, make it 3-1, but then Sheldon Surrey scored in the empty net from Alexei Yashin. 4-1 your final score. And now we are playing in Florida against the Panthers. Yeah, Panthers also not doing that great. They are 12th in the East with a 16-31-3 record. We have won both games against Florida so far this year. We're going with Mike Dunham in net. They are going with John Graham. And we won 6-1. Oof. 55-22 the shots on goal for us. Brian McCabe was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Mike Sillinger, second star with a goal and an assist. And Magnus Arvidsson, second star with 2 goals. Alright, so nobody scored in the first. And then we scored 3 straight in the second. Alfredson on the power play. That's his 20th of the season. From Brian McCabe and Pavel Datsyuk. Magnus Arvidsson from Joe Nieuwendyk and Pavel Datsyuk. And then Marian Osa from Daniel Alfredson. It was 3-0 after 2. Then Florida scored their goal. And then we scored 3 more. Magnus Arvidsson from Brian McCabe and Mike Sillinger. Mike Sillinger from Bill Guerin and Brian McCabe. And finally, Andres Dackel from Robert Cron and Chris Phillips, Big Rig. Alright, Ray Bourque extends his goal streak to 5 games, so he had a goal against Buffalo. Red Wings, Dallas Drake got hurt against the Mighty Ducks. He's going to miss 3 weeks. Miroslav Shatan keeps fans on their feet all night. He had 3 goals. Hat-trick against Phoenix. And that was 14 straight games with a point for him. So he's on a nice little streak. Alright. So 2 more games to go. Oh, there's something I wanted to check real quick. Oh, they don't have Chris Phillips' nickname in the game. Big Rig. I was wondering about that. Oh well. Alright, next game is in Montreal against the Canadiens. You all know by now how I feel about those games. Oh, Ray Bourque got suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. Patrick Elias has a strong game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals in that same game against Boston. All right, playing the Canadians. They are still sixth in the East. And they have a 29-17-5 record. We are 3-0 against Montreal. Let's make it 4-0 and then 5-0 when we face them again in February. Let's just beat them all the time. Tim Thomas and net for us. We're facing Patrick Roy. And I will mute real quick just to get some water. Ah, that's better. Alright, let's sim this. And we won 4-2. Woohoo! 4-0 against Montreal this year. My season is already a success. Alright, we outshot them 41-28. Daniel Alfredson was the first star of the game. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals. Mike Keane was the second star with an assist. And Marian Osa, the third star with 2 assists. So Alfredson opened the scoring from Marian Osa, and then Montreal scored twice, make it 2-1 Montreal. But then Nieuwendyk scored to tie it up from Thornton and Pavel Datsyuk, and then Alfredson from Yashin and Sami Sado. It was 3-2 after 1. And then in the third period, Daniel Alfredson completed his hat-trick on the power play from Marian Osa and Roman Hamrlik. Oh yeah, Daniel Alfredson keeps fans on their feet all night with a hat trick. I was there. I lost my voice. That's why I'm talking like this. Lost my voice at the game. Joe Nieuwendyk extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal. So I did mention that he looked like he was getting more points. I didn't realize that it was in every single game. So yeah, his season is starting to turn around for Joe Nieuwendyk. I like that. And Matt Connors coming back from suspension, I also like that. Alright, and there's one more game in 2 days. We are playing in Washington. That's going to be the final game in January. Brettel has reached 700 goals in his career with a goal and an assist against Toronto. Pretty good career for the Golden Brett. Alright, so we are playing in Washington. We have not played in Washington yet. We have a win and a tie against them. They are terrible. They are 13, 33, and 5. So Mike Dunham in net for us. Olaf Kozig in net for Washington. And we won in overtime. The W is what matters. We won 3-2. We outshot them 32-24. Alexei Yashin was the first star of that game. He had 2 goals. Vladimir Orsa for Washington was the second star with a goal. And Daniel Alfredson, the third star with 2 assists. So they actually opened up the scoring. Washington did. And then Alexei Yashin tied it on the power play from Daniel Alfredson. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then we traded goals in the second period again as well. Orsa scored first, and then Chris Phillips scored his first NHL goal in his career, assisted by Joe Thornton and Joe Nieuwendyk, to tie it at 2. And then in overtime, the hero was Alexei Yashin, who scored, assisted by Alfredson and Sheldon Souray. And Joe Nieuwendyk extends his point streak to 13 games. Alright, so that was a pretty good month for Joe Nieuwendyk. Surely he's going to be considered for Player of the Month. Miroslav Shatan extends his point streak to 15 games with a goal and an assist against Calgary. He's on a tier. Henrik Zetterberg, oh, that's a new name. We haven't really seen him do anything so far, at least not that I can remember. So his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against New Jersey. Brad Stewart in San Jose is suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. And we have a trade proposal from the Pittsburgh Penguins, who probably want Peter Sheslivy for Jaromir Jagr. No, they are offering Pavel Skrbek for Ivan Ciernik. Yeah, no. I'll keep Ciernik. He's a forward, and I'm short at forward. All right, so we're gonna sim one more day to bring us to February. All right, Miroslav Shatan extends his point streak to 16 games with an assist against Chicago. Darian Hatcher in Anaheim is back from suspension. All right. Well, nobody lost any points. That's great. All right, and the players on the month are Jaromir Jagr and Milan Lichka in net. Milan Lichka playing in Colorado. All right, so yeah, that was this month. I was able to pull through, so hopefully my voice wasn't too cracked or anything. I mean, I know how I sound when I'm sick. When your nose is stuck and everything, your voice sounds all different and whatnot. Like I said, I don't care much about that. It's more the interruptions. All right, so it's going to be pretty tough to start the month. We're going to face the best team in the league, which is arguably probably the only team that's better than us. The Detroit Red Wings. All right, so let's take a look at... I think I might have already. I'm a little spaced out. All right, so let's see here. Conference. So we are first. Okay. Oh, Colorado's better than us too by 1 point. Ugh. Alright, we are the third best team in the league. Oh well. But we are still facing the best team in the league, which is Detroit. They are ridiculously good. And then LA, Phoenix, Edmonton, Anaheim is in there. That's cool. St. Louis and San Jose. So St. Louis in a playoff spot after, having a couple really, really, really horrible seasons. So good for them. Just as long as I don't face them in the Stanley Cup finals and that they win. Good for them for everything else. Alright, so the stats for the team. Alright, so Yashin has 61 points in 51 games, Osa 58 in 51, Alfredson 50 in 46. So those are the three players that are all above a point per game pace. That's awesome. Sheldon Surrey is not far from point per game, especially since he's a defenseman. That's awesome as well. He has 42 points in 51 games. Then it starts to dwindle down, but to note, Joe Nieuwendyk really kind of turned his season around. Now he's at 28 points in 44 games, so that's pretty good. And in the league, Steve Yzerman is still the best goal scorer with 40 goals. And the best passer is Pierre Turgeon with 46 assists. And the best scorer is Steve Yzerman, 11 points on top of Joe Sakic with 84. Alexei Yashin is 11th with 61 points. That's pretty cool. All right. All right, well, I'm going to stop this here. My voice is really struggling for me right now. I do want to thank you for tuning in as usual. Again, I'm sorry that maybe I paused a little bit more than usual or something like that. So all in all, I think I did pretty good, but and as usual, if you've liked the video, feel free to like and subscribe. That's always appreciated. And until I roll this game again and that I am not too sick to record, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.